how to price yourself as a contractor in the UK. My name is Isaac, previous CTO of a funded startup, and I run the checkout team at Pretty Little Thing. I made a video recently discussing how to actually get a contract job. That'll be somewhere around here. What I wanted to talk about today is how you actually go about pricing yourself. The correct answer to this realistically is as high as you can go, because you do want the max output of your time. But estimates are, for a junior, I'd say don't do it yet. Keep doing full-time work to build up your CV. For a midway, it can be 300 to 400. For a senior, it can be 500 to 700. And if you're more specialized, it can be even higher. This is day rate, by the way. So per day, that's what you get paid. All of these prices are outside IR35, and I'd suggest that you go for outside IR35 because it works out better financially. There are some additional costs that you have to do for insurance and saying you're on private limited company, but I really think it's worth it. Also, in the contract video that I mentioned before, I do discuss how to sell it so you're ready to do IR35 work, so that's well worth checking out. This is just the pricing. This video really is split into two sections, which is finding the prices that you're going for and then negotiating them, or basically just improving the chances of getting what you want. Luckily, prices are already quite predefined, so it's going to be kind of difficult for you to massively miss the mark and undervalue yourself. It does, however, mean you can't massively overvalue yourself, but that's just what we're doing. If you haven't had any previous experience, it can be a bit of an uphill battle, so it might be worth lowering your rate. Lowering your rate, you could also decrease the amount of time that you do it. So normally it's in increments of 3 months. So if they come to you with a 6-month contract and it's lower than what you want, say I'm willing to do for 3, or after 3 I can opt out, something like that, or renew. And then when it's coming up to 3, now that you've got a little bit of experience, you can then try applying for different contract jobs. If you don't get any different contract jobs, that's fine. You can stay on and get the extra experience. But if you do and you see a higher price point that's available, you could then move, or you can speak to your current people when you need to renew after 3 months and say, I've got an offer for this. Is that something you can match? So there is flexibility around it. Don't worry about getting locked in. Contracts by definition are normally quite fixed short term, so if you lower your price, it's not the end of the world. My experience from a senior, I just stuck to the 600 mark. I mostly did that because I knew a couple of other people that contracted and priced around what they were doing. I added a little bit extra because I know I'd been a developer for a few more years. I actually did get some recruiters that told me like, hey, I think you should go lower because you don't have any experience, you're not going to get the job. But prior to them, I'd already have an interview or two, so I was feeling kind of confident. In my head, as long as you get an interview, realistically it's about nailing the interview, so I figured I'd keep rolling the dice. It does get easier with the interviewing process. You just have to do more of them to get more familiar with how they ask the questions and what it is that they're looking for, and then you'll do better. So it's a bit of a numbers game. The search process when looking for jobs, it depends on your experience, specifically in the role that you're going to do, but you can filter them by price. And when you look at the higher price points, if you're not sure about where to price yourself, look at what it is that they're requiring from the role. If you have all of these things, so let's say they're looking for, they want experience at TDD, they want to have worked in these systems for these many years. You don't have to be exact, but if you're close enough where you think you could swing it, like whatever price they're going for, you can actually put yourself across as that, and they might just say, oh, like go down £50 or whatever. That's very doable. You can do this by literally just looking online of like Node Contractor UK. If you're just a midway, just put Node Contractor. If you're a senior, put senior. They don't always specify whether the role is for like a senior or a mid, but you kind of gauge that by the pricing. So if the no contract is like 300 to 400, they're probably looking for someone a little bit more mid. But then 500 plus, you're looking more senior. So once you've had a look around and you have a better understanding of what kind of price you should put yourself as, after you've done that, set a minimum. So whether that's, okay, let's say my day rate is 600, but I'm going to put myself, like the minimum I'll go is like 550 or 500. If you're not sure what to price yourself as, it is okay to ask recruiters. Like I said with some of my recruiter experience, like I did ignore one recruiter that thought I should drop my prices, but equally that was because I was taking the chance and I kind of knew what I was doing. If you're not sure, they are more likely to give you the guarantee because they are incentivized to sell you. They get paid commission on every time they place someone in a role. So they're not telling you this for the sake of it. And for them, it is actually better if they place someone in a higher price role. They're telling you because that's how they work and they want to get the sales. So you can trust them. Oof. Okay, so now you have decided a price for yourself. How do you negotiate this? Realistically, there's kind of two sides. So you need to sell to the recruiters and then you need to nail the interview. And that's kind of all there is to it. With the recruiters, they are on your side, so you do have a little bit of a buffer, like asking for advice or like, oh, what price do you think I should go? And it won't really hurt your position because, as I said, they're in an interesting place where they want you to charge as much as possible because they get a commission on it, but then they also want it to be realistic so they can guarantee the sale. The recruiters are selling you to the client, so that's why it's ideal to give them extra information. So if you can have like an ideal price and a minimum price, it gives them a little bit of flexibility when they're trying to put you across. So you're just arming the recruiters essentially. You can start high with the recruiters, but it is okay to let them talk you down. Don't feel bad about that. You can also get them to sell you a little bit on the companies. You can say, look, like I don't mind going lower. It's just like, you know, I need it to be a company that looks good on my CV. You just give them things to work with. They will probably ask you what you're looking for, but the more you help them, the more they'll help you. And then after that, to be honest, it's just nailing the landing with the interview. Contract interviews do sort of have their own cadence. I found them to be a little bit different from full-time interviews. When I was first looking for contract jobs, I think I was doing like 4 or 5 interviews, and then, you know, I wasn't getting the call back, and then I did 2 and I got the call back for both of them. And it's because during that first 5, like I had to like figure out and learn what they were looking for, how to speak and present my work, and then after that it was a lot easier. So you kind of actually record yourself to see what you liked, and like when you have the interview through them, it's normally through Zoom or something like that. Obviously don't be like spreading it and it's like illegal to share or whatever, maybe, I don't know, but just for personal reference, you don't have to publicize it. In the interview, if you get something wrong, try and figure out what it was and why. So they might be short with you, they might have an answer, and then you go, oh, okay, like what is it that you think? Or prod around. You don't need to directly ask them. Or even sometimes when you don't know the answer to something, ask them, I'm not sure, what is it? And get them to explain it to you. And this is literally just so you can take it to the next interview. Like anytime you feel like you messed up in an interview, cool, it just turns into learning now. So your job's not even to sell them, your job's just to learn as much as you can and try different things. The reason the learning is so important is it's not necessarily about the correct answer, it's about giving the right answer. So a personal anecdote about that is I once had someone who's interviewing me for a position, and he started asking me questions about, oh, how would you debug certain things? And I think one of them is like, you know, if you're on a website and a date isn't showing up correctly, you know, how would you go about debugging it? And I was like, well, you know, I guess I'd probably check the code on the front end to see if it's being displayed properly from the information. And this dude was like, no, why wouldn't you check the database first? To be fair, I should have asked him more precursor questions before I answered. I just figured it was such an abstract concept, he just wanted to hear me talk. But to him, that wasn't the right answer. He wanted me to check the database. I don't know how I get there. But that's why it's important to ask questions and important to do the interviews, because certain type of people will pick weird questions and weird hills to die on, and you kind of, the more you do, you will figure out which type of people do that. Now, looking back, having done more interviews, I know he definitely isn't a person I would have wanted to work with because he's awkwardly rigid. But you don't know that until you do the interviews. So do the interviews, try and learn from them, experiment, ask questions, and see what it is that you can improve on. You will only know these things by doing them. So just get someone under your belt, get as many as you can actually. Worst case scenario, you know, you schedule 5 interviews throughout the week. On interview 3, you get it, and then the next 2, you just go, hey, you know, I've already got a role, I'm gonna cancel. Or you could do them as well and, you know, see how you do, and then maybe see if you can upsell them. You don't really lose anything by having extra options. When I first started, I must have done like 5 interviews that didn't go through. A couple of them, they actually really congratulated me on the technical test. They were like, oh, you were actually one of the better people to do it. And I was like, okay, so like, why wasn't I picked? And it was just because someone else that interviewed had like 10 years of contract experience and I had none. So they were taking the safe option, and, you know, you can't really do a lot in situations like that. All you can do is just keep going, and eventually you will get something because it is a numbers game. So in conclusion, look at actual jobs to get a reference for your pricing. You can check the descriptions and see how much they're priced by to see if it's something you reckon you could do, and then you work backwards from there. Like I said, the estimates were for mid-rate, it's 300 to 400, for senior 500 to 700. If it's specialized, you can go even higher. If the interview is set, they're open to being open. What that means is they will have already seen your CV and been put across at the price point that you said to the recruiter. Even if you think, oh, this guy's not too experienced, but let's see, there's a chance. I'm not saying you'll get it. Like I said, you can do everything right in the interview and someone else just comes along with more experience, but it's a numbers game. Keep being in the runnings. The more you do, the better you will get at them, I promise you. I finished my first contract, which was like 6 months, which was the first one that I did. After that, I think I had 2 interviews, and I think in the space of like 2 weeks, I got on one of them. So it gets easier once you understand what they're looking for and how to answer these questions. So you just need to put your feet in the water. Ooh, okay, this was just my experience, but I do hope it was useful for someone out there. If you know someone else who's thinking about getting into contracting or not sure where to set their price, please send them this video so they can make a more informed decision. Thanks, guys.